Hi guys, hopefully you can hear me. This is going to be a video about where I've been, what's been going on, why haven't I been videoing. As you can hear, I have no voice. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to try to make this a story time. Please forgive me with the video quality thing here. I have this up on a tripod, chopper, stop. I have this up on a weird tripod on like some candles, and I really hope you can hear me. He has a little bit of allergies. We've been running out of medicine, so he's biting at his feet a lot. Anyway, hopefully you can hear me. I haven't really done a test video to see if you can hear me, but hopefully you can. The reason I'm using a tripod is because I want to use my hands to explain what's going on, and I need both hands to do that. So what happened? So I had a thyroid nodule, and that's a mass on your thyroid that could be cancerous. They don't know yet if it's cancerous, but I basically ignored it for a year. I don't want to go into why. There's a long story, but I ignored it for a year. Don't do that. It was about this. It was the size of my hand. It was on the right side of my thyroid, and it was like 3 inches coming out of my skin. You could visually see it. It was pretty bad. So on October 11th, I had my thyroid removed, my entire thyroid. It's called a thyroidectomy, and so they took out my entire thyroid, and yeah, so that was that. And I knew that I would lose my voice. I took 3.5 weeks off of work, and I didn't have a voice at all for 2.5 of those 3.5 weeks. And so on my post-op, I got scoped, and in the scope, they discovered now the nodule was on my right side. It was very, very sticky, which apparently means possible cancerous. Chopper, go please. Go. And he didn't get to run today because it got dark. I was late at work, but anyway, so he's a little antsy. What was I saying? I just lost my train of thought. It was on my right side. Oh, it was sticky, and it got stuck to my right side nerve. So you would think my right side would be where all the issues are, but it's actually my left side. So on my post-op, they scoped me and learned that my left side, so your vocal cords are like this, right? And they vibrate in order to make noise. So my left side vocal cord was trying to vibrate, but it wasn't vibrating very well. And so they said to exercise it. So I sat here for hours a day, literally hours a day, reading books out loud to exercise my voice, to get it to what you hear now. And I went back to work, and sometimes in order to get a voice, I have to actually squeeze my throat, and that's really hard because I have to type and use like 10 different programs at work, and yeah, and if I have to squeeze my throat with my right hand and my left hand doesn't work to get a voice, I'm right-handed, so that's really hard. Anyway, so, excuse me. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cough and gag on camera. So that happened, and I had a lot of mucus right after surgery. I was coughing up blood. They intubated me, and I had trouble breathing, and so it was a hard intubation. And so they said coughing up blood was normal because of how hard the intubation was. And, I stayed overnight in the hospital, and that was it. So I'm an ex-smoker of cigarettes. I quit like 4.5 years ago. In order to quit, I started to vape nicotine. And the reason is because I had pneumonia twice in a year, and they told me that if I didn't stop smoking, I would be on oxygen before, the year was out or whatever. And so I tried everything. Nothing was working. And so my therapist mentioned, because e-cigarettes wasn't working, so my therapist mentioned vaping, and that would be a better delivery system, and it worked. And yeah, so I'm a vapor. I don't broadcast that ever because vaping is very bad for you. Please don't do it. And yeah, and after surgery, my throat swelled up. I have pictures. I don't know if you want me to share it, but my throat swelled up, and but I'm healing really well. So the last thing I learned was that my left side vocal cord was trying to work, but it wasn't working, and it needed to be exercised because it's literally a muscle. And so, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pause this a lot because I'm got mucus still, and I'm coughing mucus up. And I'll get more into that. I have a nebulizer that I've been doing since surgery. I bought a Vicks, what do you call it, humidifier for Vicks vapor stuff. I've been doing steam, and like inhaling steam, everything that I can do. And I was taking Mucinex. So anyway, the last thing that happened, I wasn't getting better. My voice wasn't getting better. I had an appointment with speech pathology on yesterday. I guess that was the 14th. And the day before, 2 days ago, literally looking for my 2 days ago. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking for my pulse ox. This thing that they put on your finger and read your pulse. Some in your blood oxygen. So yesterday, 2 days ago, my blood oxygen went down to, it was, see, right now it's 91, 92. It won't focus, but it says 92 and 93. But yesterday, 2 days ago, 94. 2 days ago, it went down to 82, which is hospital, level. If you go into a walk-in clinic and you're below 90, if they can't get you up and stable above 90, they will tell you to go to the hospital. So I called my surgeon on Wednesday to let him know my blood oxygen was going down, and I couldn't get the mucus out. I thought maybe I had bronchitis on top of the surgery, and maybe that's why the mucus wasn't coming out. And so I called my surgeon. They told me to call my primary care. I called my primary care. They told me to go into a walk-in clinic like that day. And so I went into a walk-in clinic. They sent me to the emergency room. So 2 days ago, I had to go to the emergency room because when you just have surgery, especially on your neck, and your blood oxygen goes down that low, they're worried about a blood clot in your lungs. One moment, I gotta cough again. So they're worried about a blood clot in your lungs. And the walk-in clinic did not have, they had an x-ray, but they didn't have a CAT scan, obviously, because in order to find a blood clot in your lungs, they have to do a CAT scan. So I went to the emergency room 2 days ago. They did a CAT scan. They learned I didn't have a blood clot, but that there was bacteria in there from the last time I had pneumonia, which was really weird because the last time I had pneumonia was like 4.5, 5 years ago, something like that. And so apparently, I've gotten sick since then, obviously. I've had mucus in, my throat and my lungs since then. One second. And I've always gotten better, but I guess surgery is a bigger, like, trauma on your body or whatever. And the mucus is attached to my tissue, which is why it's not coming out. And that's all caused because of the bacteria that's in my lung from the last time I had pneumonia, which is really weird. But they told me that it was on a CAT scan level, so whatever that means. So they gave me antibiotics. I'm on antibiotics, which I think is working and helping the mucus, even though I have mucus in my lungs still, and my blood oxygen is still kind of low. The mucus, I can taste it. I know it sounds gross, but I've never been able to taste it, so I think it's breaking up. It's coming out, but I think it's breaking up because I can taste it. So, anyway, so that happened. So then I went to speech pathology, and this is where I got a lot of information. They did what's called a stroboscope, and that tells you a lot of information of what's going on. So I'm going to describe it. I don't feel like editing this or putting pictures in. You can Google vocal folds, and you can learn all of this by Googling. But starting at the top of your neck, there are, above your vocal folds, there are these cartilage. They're like little, I don't know, like balls. They're cartilage, and they're above your vocal folds. And when you talk, they come together. They're supposed to be even with each other, and they come together, right? Mine are coming together, and this one's drooped. The left side is drooping, so it's like this, more like that, right? And they're coming together and then folding. So this is like this, and every time I talk, it's coming together and folding, coming together and folding. And they're not supposed to do that, but it's because the left one is drooping and they're not even with each other. Basically, my left side nerve, at least in my vocal folds, has malfunctioned, which is weird. That is the left side and not the right side, because the right side is where the nodule got stuck to the nerve. They're both intact, but the left side malfunctioned for whatever reason. And so, so starting at the top, that's happening. And then the second thing that's happening is you have false vocal cords. So, false vocal folds. So they say false vocal folds because they're not your real vocal folds, and they're not supposed to be moving. Mine are. The reason is because my body is trying to compensate and help me talk. So your body will help you talk by doing these things. And so my false vocal folds are moving when they're not supposed to. The third thing, got all this like weird setup on this table. The third thing that's happening, of course, is my vocal folds. Your vocal folds come together. When you talk and make sound, they come together. Mine are not, there's like a little gap. So they're vibrating like they're supposed to. So when you talk and make sound, they come together and vibrate. Come together and vibrate. Mine are vibrating. So my left one is vibrating now. But there's a gap. They're not coming together. There's a gap. And so that's why there's a lot of air coming out. That's why I'm hoarse. I'm hoarse also because of the mucus, but my voice is very airy. I run out of breath as I'm talking. I can't get a lot of words out, or the word like at the end of a sentence won't come out. And so that's why. So that's going on. So what can they do? Well, this is all going back over to my surgeon. My surgeon is an oncologist, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, I had an original biopsy done on it. They sent it to a lab, and that lab sent it to another lab. I still don't know the results from that. And then when she took the nodule out, she sent that nodule to a lab, or there were several nodules on my thyroid, so they took them all out and sent the whole thing over to the lab to check for a thyroid cancer. And that lab sent it to another lab. So literally, I have no idea if I have thyroid cancer or not. Now, thyroid cancer is the easiest treatable cancer that there is, but I don't know if I have thyroid cancer or not. Nobody knows yet. I don't know why no lab can figure this out. Apparently, sticky means there's something like going on with, she said, how did she word it? Like there was an interaction going on with my tissues, so that's more likely cancerous, but nobody's come back to say that it's cancerous or not. So I literally don't know. The ER, when I went to the ER, they told me to stop taking Mucinex because it was dehydrating me, and to just take the antibiotics and drink a lot of water and it'll flush it out. I think it is, but it's only been 2 days, and it's a 4-day or 5-day thing. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. This is why I haven't made a video though, because I don't have a voice. Now Chopper has been amazing throughout all of this. For the first week, I was afraid to run him after surgery because I didn't have a voice at all. And I run him off leash for several reasons. But I run him off leash by a road, in a field, but it's by a road. And I was afraid, even though he has an e-collar and he's very, very, very well trained off leash, I was afraid that if he did, got a wild hair, I couldn't yell for him. But he actually learned very quickly to come back to me quickly with clapping of hands, clapping my hands. And so that was pretty cool. He's been very good at doing hand signal. We've been doing a lot of hand signal work, no talking, just hand signals. He's I'm learning to depend on his training, or to, rely on his training a lot more than I was before. And I realized that he's so much more well trained than I even realized. He works perfectly. Even when he's not exercised, he'll work. He stays calm. He stays focused. When we're not working, he knows that we're not working. And obviously that's what a service dog is supposed to do. But I'm just saying, even when he wasn't ran for an entire week, he worked perfectly, and that's really amazing to me. He's been so good throughout all this. He's been really good with the change in my voice. Kind of scared him a little bit, but he got over it very quickly. He just needed to learn that I was me, so when he heard me, he would look at me like funny for like a few days. But he's been doing really good with hand signals. I should do a hand signal video because it's been just really good. So what can they do to fix this? Well, so this goes back to my surgeon. The speech pathology, they did a stroboscope, and that stroboscope information goes back to my surgeon, and my surgeon decides what to do. So there is a shot that they can put in your neck that can plump up your vocal folds and make them touch. The problem is there's only so much room for talking and breathing. And most especially because I had breathing issues during surgery with intubation issues, and I had breathing issues here recently, and I had to go to the ER. I don't think they're going to do it. I really hope they do. I'm a professional voice user. I have to speak for a living. I work in a call center, but if that makes me not be able to breathe, they're not going to do it. The speech pathology during the barium swallow study before the surgery, they told me that there's medication that they can give you to help, but when I asked, one moment, I'm sorry. When I asked about it with speech pathology, they didn't really know what I was talking about. They did know what the shot in the neck was for. They explained what that does, like plumps up your vocal cords. But whatever the treatment's going to be, it's going to be up to my surgeon. My left vocal fold nerve can heal itself, but it will take a long time, and I don't really have a long time. I need to talk for a living, and sometimes I have to squeeze my neck to get any voice to come out, and what that squeezing my neck does is it makes the vocal folds touch, and so a better voice will come out. But yeah, so that's where I've been. That's why I haven't made a video, because my voice is horrid, non-existent really, and I have to talk for a living, so I'm using my voice 8 hours a day. I haven't really known what to, film. We have done some training sessions, mainly with hand signals. I don't know if I filmed any of it, but it's been mainly me trying to heal from this and trying to work and trying to get the mucus out, and that's a full-time job, like doing a nebulizer treatment twice a day, doing a steam treatment twice a day. Like, it takes up all my time. Nebulizer treatments take 15 minutes. I've been doing steam treatments for 15 minutes. That's 30 minutes. I run him for 45 minutes. And by that time, it's time to feed him, and start getting ready for bed. So I haven't really been able to do a whole lot. Obviously, I've worked him, but, I don't feel real great. Still, like, I'm not 100% feeling great from surgery. So when I go out and do things, I just don't feel good. I've been to my therapist, but yeah, I just haven't filmed because I don't have a voice. So I wanted to explain where I've been, what's going on. I don't ever talk about my health issues on this channel. I never really wanted to talk about my health issues on this channel. I don't really like to broadcast my health issues. I really don't, it's a service dog training channel, but I think you guys deserve an explanation of where I've been. I did film the very last video right before surgery, like literally a day before surgery, because I knew that at least for 3 or 4 weeks I wouldn't have a voice. But I think you guys deserve an explanation. That's the explanation. I don't know when my voice is going to come back. I don't know what the treatment's going to be. I don't know if I have thyroid cancer or not. Obviously I still have to take calcium after surgery, and they're obviously have increased my thyroid medicine like 3 times now. I have so many doctors now. I have an oncologist, endocrinologist, and then I have a oncologist surgeon, which is a cancer surgeon. Oncology is for cancer. So they just sent me to oncology because they didn't know if it was cancerous or not. So I have that, and then speech pathology. I've had 2 appointments with them. you know, all kinds of different scans and scopes and, you know, all kinds of different things, the ER, you know, but the new doctors are the endocrinologist and the oncologist surgeon, and the speech pathology. Like I've had to go to Orlando Health is where it's at. I had to go to Orlando Health so many times. Orlando Regional Medical Center. But it's Orlando Health is the thing. But anyway, so I had to go. I got this, you know, that was when I had surgery. But, so that's what's going on. I don't want to really make the video any longer. I don't really want to edit any pictures in. I could show you pictures of my incision, but I don't know if you're